tell him what I know, and then I can tell him like, all right, well, let me lift you up, Lord. Let me lift you up here. You know what I'm saying? Because that part I don't really kind of know like you know. You know what I'm saying? I'm still studying. You know what I'm saying? Like 3 years, but I've just been 3 years on some internet study. So it's not really studying until like, remember I got the one book with Keith Moore, and then I also got the Koran about a year ago. So I was studying both of those about a year ago, but still, again, I didn't go to an official temple until April 21st. And April 21st, the class was over with. Yeah. I caught them in advance and made them give me a naturalization card. They're like, we don't normally do this on this day. Yeah. Like, I'm like, oh no, that's my birthright. You got this. You know what I'm saying? So like, they came me and then we talked for about an hour or two. You know, so that's when they're like, oh yeah, well you can get it done in Ohio and you know what I'm saying, do it like that in Dayton. I'm like, but I'm not ready yet. You know, I feel not no confidence thing or nothing, but just I want to be more versed on the whole aspect of it more than just I'm more of a civic guy on it. But I want to be more versed on it before I even think about even
Islam
and stuff. So I feel you on that one. I give you good props on that one. That's why I'm glad. I want
much love.
But let me mute. Islam, man.
Yeah, we about to get started so we can stay timely. I feel you. I feel what you're saying. You know, we are gonna get stronger in this, you know, together because we all learning. And like, you know, none of us like has all the pieces. You can see even it was something I wanted to show or speak on too if we got time. But you can see even how like some of the information that most of us have been coming into, you know, like from the internet and the streets, we seeing now how like some of that stuff, you know, is, you know, faulty. You know what I'm saying? And so like it's a lot, you know, a lot that has to be fixed. So none of us really. Yeah, so none of us really has like all the answers. We're just learning and we're, you know, putting it back with what the prophet brought so that we can make sure that we're right in exact and make sure that we're not like putting what we have in a position where it could be, you know, you know, attacked or destroyed because like, you know what I'm saying? What the prophet brought is real. And we, you know, we don't want to put it in a position where it's vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's the main thing, like for people to come in and the people who's been exposed to this already, you know, to come in too and to find out like many of us didn't even know about the Constitution and all this stuff, or we just saw it, didn't really understand, you know, so we need to come in. We all need to know and be on the same accord so that we can be strong and locked tight in it. Right. And that's what makes it real. And then also so that like I was saying before, so we don't want to put this in a position where it's vulnerable. It's not, you know, this is freedom of religion. Nobody can attack that. You know what I'm saying? It's a done deal. All we have to do is operate, you know, as we're supposed to properly. And so we're all on an accord with that. We're good. And then with what we're doing too, even with like the with the Holy Day Friday and the Sunday school, I don't want anyone to feel like, you know, it's just monotonous. We're doing this. This is you getting initiated back into your ancient forefathers' ways. This is like me and my wife was speaking on earlier, Islam, to the person that just joined. We were speaking on earlier how this is like going into the ancient mystery system. Then for the people that don't know, I don't want to take up too much time. We're going to start the lesson soon, but the ancient mystery schools, this is how the wisdom from the ancient civilizations was getting passed down until, you know, even the present day where we're at now. Okay. And what I'm talking about is, you know, the civilizations that are before history, prehistory, you know, things that are seen as mythology like Atlantis, Lemuria, all of this stuff, that wisdom from these ancient civilizations that already mapped out the stars and had high up spiritual wisdom, technology and all that, they passed this down to Egypt. Egypt was a worldwide civilization. Egypt was over here in America. It was in Japan. It was all over. And so that information was powerful and dangerous. So it had to be coded into the mystery system or the mystery school so that people are worthy of handling that burden, you know, or that power, right? Because it's a double-sided sword. It's power, but it's also a burden. And so, you know, people have to prove themselves worthy. And that's what we're doing. That's why we are doing these lessons. That's why we're in here. We're not thinking like, oh, this is just church all over again. Not knocking church. because if Christianity helps somebody get closer to the Creator, more power to them. We're more scientists. We're not on that low level simpleness of, oh, that's Christianity, that's slave religion. We're not like that because we're the creators of it. We see that these are things that our ancestors created to help all of the people, the Europeans, the Asians, everyone all over the world. We created these systems so that everyone from where they're at culturally, could get closer to the Most High, to the Father of the universe. Allah, we'll call the Father of the universe Allah. But if someone else calls it, Yahweh or whatever, we respect that. We understand. You want to call it God, you just want to call it the cosmic mind, the universal mind, whatever. We respect it. We understand. We get it. So we're not coming at people on that simple level. This is getting us back into that mindset. And that's why this is such a great thing. And that's why we need to be on top of each other. That's why, Sunday we do the Quran, and we do the questionnaire. And also we go over a couple of things from Moorish literature, right? Which everybody should be able to get a copy of this. There's some things in here in this book, this version of Moorish literature, that you're not going to get anywhere else. Okay, because the former Supreme Grand Sheikh D. Bailey Ill is actually E. Millie Ill's grandson. E. Millie Ill, for those that don't know, is a real quick history lesson, was the first appointed Supreme Grand Sheikh before Prophet Noble Drew Ali made the transition. He appointed and set up the Supreme Grand Council, which is actually our governing body, our governing structure, okay? And if you, hang on one second, I need to reply to this text real quick, but that's actually our governing structure, the Supreme Grand Council. All right. And so the Prophet actually established the society and set up the governing body. And Brother D. Bailey L., who just stepped down and appointed Brother K. Dandridgel, the Supreme Grand Sheikh, this is his grandfather. Okay, and so he had documents that he's been holding on to for 60, 70, 80, 90 years. I mean, things that, predate even him. Okay, things from the early, late 20s. All right, documents. He kept them and he passed them down. And so there's some stuff in here that nobody else has. All right, and so the reason I say that is just to say that it was set up, it was established, and a lot of us are finding out about this information, but we don't even understand. We don't even really know what it is, and that's not a knock to anyone because nobody could just know this. You need to learn it, okay? And so for those that's new to this, please, if you're on a computer, like I see somebody says Life 1 X3, if you're on a computer or phone or whatever, make sure you type your name in there, right, so that your name shows. And in the chat, type your name and phone number and email address. All right. Okay. And so that's it. But back to what I was saying, just that we're doing this on Sundays. We do the questionnaire, Quran, and a couple things from Moorish literature. And so we're building each other up so that we all are on point, right? We all have to be on point. And then on Holy Day we do the Quran and just some of the Moorish literature. All right. But we're doing this to keep each other on point, locked tight, because this is ours and it's powerful. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to do the opening prayer. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And if everybody can, please rise and face the east. And,
Islam. Everybody rise, face the east, feet at a 45-degree angle, 2 fingers on the left, 5 fingers extended on the right, and repeat after me. Allah.
Allah.
The Father of the universe.
Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Truth.
Peace.
Peace.
Freedom.
Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide.
My guide.
And my salvation.
And my salvation.
By night and by day.
By night and by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Drew Ali.
Drew Ali.
Amen.
Amen. All right.
Now, at this time, I'll read the Moorish Science Temple of America, Divine Constitution and Bylaws, Islam.
Islam.
Salvation, Allah, Unity. The Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Act 1. The Grand Sheik and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make laws and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheik is to assist the Grand Sheik in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice.
You just went mute. Your phone just went mute.
Islam. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 in love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the law of the Constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1855 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the Prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and parcel of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of the household. Sons and daughters must obey mother and father to be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Noble Drew Ali, founder. Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation by night and by day through his holy prophet. Amen. Through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. The Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office of Noble Drew Ali, Home Office, Chicago, Illinois, USA. Islam.
All right, Islam. Islam, thank you. All right, moving on. We're going to go to chapter 5 in the Holy Quran. If you don't have your Quran, you can just look at the screen. All right. Okay, I got it up on the screen. So if you don't have the Quran, we're in chapter 5. After the feast, the homeward journey, the missing Jesus, the search for him. His parents find him in the temple. He goes with them to Nazareth, symbolic meaning of carpenter's tools. Okay. Islam to the brother just joined. Islam. Okay. All right. After the feast, the homeward journey, the missing Jesus, search for him. His parents find him in the temple. He goes with them to Nazareth, and the symbolic meaning of the carpenter's tools. And this is all in chapter 5. All right, verse 1. The great feast of the Pasch was ended, and the Nazarenes were journeying towards their homes. And they were in Samaria. And Mary said, "Where is my son? No one has seen the boy." And Joseph sought among their kindred who were on their way to Galilee, but they had seen him not. Right. And I'm going to just pause right there just to go over this real quick, just to touch on like some of the meanings behind what's being said. Like Jesus, from a metaphysical perspective, all right, the man of Nazareth, son of Mary, the savior of mankind, according to present day, according to present day Christian belief, he is the I am in man. This is Jesus. Jesus is the I am in man, the self, the directive power raised to divine understanding and power, the I am identity. Okay. And then we're talking about Nazareth. They're going to Nazareth, right? They can't find Jesus. All right. Nazareth, okay, was a despised place. All right. And so people coming from there would be seen as inferior. Like this whole entire area would be seen as a type of inferiority, right? The things of the Spirit of God are considered foolish by the natural man. That's in Corinthians 2:14. It was considered a community of commonplace, if not disreputable people. Can any good thing come out of Nazareth? Yet in this commonplace village, Jesus was reared. And in this seemingly mediocre mind, the Christ truth is received and expressed. So Nazareth is like the commonplace mind of man, but it is a place of development through which the Christ comes into expression. Okay, so remember, Jesus is supposed to represent the directive power. It's the I am in man. Okay, and so this is just showing you from another perspective. And like my wife was saying, we were talking earlier. She was saying that this is like us. Nothing, special or nothing really good is even being expected to come from us. And that's why also we're able to do what we can do because we're being overlooked, right? And then some of the stuff that we're seeing getting pumped in the mainstream media, it's just making us look foolish. And, we just, real materialistic, violent, ignorant, just all of these things is being pumped up. So nobody's looking at us, expecting us to do what we're doing. We're not even supposed to be meeting to speak on this esoteric, stuff like we're doing right now. And then Galilee also, from a metaphysical perspective, like this is powerful. Galilee, the metaphysical meaning of that word is energy of life activity, soul energy, right? The power, force, energy, your soul energy, acting in conjunction with substance. So, when Jesus is going into Galilee, that represents the increased activity that ensues when truth comes down into the subconscious realm and brings about the realization of Christhood. All right. Okay. So this is powerful. Man has a dual nervous system. The nerves are wired that conduct the messages of the mind to every part of the organism. The voluntary nervous system centers in the spinal cord. The involuntary or sympathetic nervous system centers in the solar plexus. A constant flow of nervous energy is making the circuit of this nervous system and carrying all kinds of messages from the mind. This sea of vitality is designated in the history of Jesus as the Sea of Galilee. John 6:1 says, it means that I am passed over the voluntary nervous energy to the involuntary, to the other side, and concentrated at the solar plexus. The great multitude that followed are the legions of thoughts that swarm in the mind, seeking harmony. The mountain into which Jesus went is the high spiritual consciousness. So once you bypass that other self, all right, and go towards the higher or the subconscious, that's when you can, tap into your real power. All right. And so this is powerful. This is like a double meaning, beneath the words that, we're seeing. And we're all we're all being initiated into this. So I'm going to pull this screen share right back up. Okay. And I stopped at verse 3. We're in chapter 5. All right, I'm going to read verse 3 again. And Jesus saw among their kindred who were on their way to Galilee, but they had seen him not. Then Joseph, Mary, and a son of Zebedee returned and sought through all Jerusalem, but they could find him not. Going down to verse 5, and Mary asked the guards, had they seen Jesus, a little boy about 12 years old? The guards replied, yes, he is in the temple now, disputing with the doctors of the law, 12 years old. And they went in and found him as the guards had said. And Mary said, why, Jesus, why do you treat your parents thus? Lo, we have sought 2 days for you. We feared that some great harm had overtaken you. And Jesus said, do you not know that I must be about my Father's work? But he went round and pressed the hand of every doctor of the law and said, I trust that we meet again. And then he went forth with his parents on their way to Nazareth. And when they reached their home, he wrought with Joseph as a carpenter, right? So he's with his dad working. One day, as he was bringing forth the tools for work, he said, these tools remind me of the ones we handle in the workshop of the mind, where things were made of thought and where we build up character. We use the square to measure all our lines, to straighten out the crooked places of the way and make the corners of our conduct square. We use the compass to draw circles around our passions and desires to keep them in the bounds of righteousness. We use the axe to cut away the knotty, useless, and ungainly parts and make the character symmetrical. We use the hammer to drive home the truth and pound it in until it is a part of every part. We use the plane to smooth the rough, uneven surfaces of joint and block and board that go to build the temple for the truth. The chisel, line, the plummet, and the saw all have their uses in the workshop of the mind. And then this ladder with its trinity of steps, faith, hope, and love. On it, we climb up the dome of purity and life. And on the 12th step ladder, we ascend until we reach the pinnacle of that which life is spent to build the temple of perfected man. Okay. And looking at that, you know, in alignment with what was reading before, when we're looking at just the meaning of Jesus, right? I'm gonna say that again. When Jesus, from a metaphysical perspective, this is the I am in man. Jesus, you know, don't quote me on this, but je suis is how you say I am in French, right? Je suis. So like Jesus is like, maybe this is hidden right in front of us the whole time, but Jesus is the I am in man. That's the self, that's the directive power, right? And for those of you who were there when we did the breakdown from chapter 1, we were reading, let me get that surah for you, hang on. Okay. All right. Yeah. When we were looking at chapter 1, okay, like, and let me see, it's Surah 2, ayat 30. Is saying, behold, the Lord said to the angels, I will create a viceroy on earth. And we know a vice-regent, right? That's a person who is exercising delegated power on behalf of a sovereign or ruler. Who's the sovereign or ruler that you're executing the power on behalf of? Allah. A person regarded as an earthly representative of God or Allah, right? And the vice-regent, the viceroy. So in that ayah 30, Surah 2, the Lord is saying to the angels, I will create a vice-regent, a viceroy on earth. They said, wilt thou place therein one who will make mischief therein and shed blood, whilst we do celebrate thy praises and glory to thy name. And Allah said, I know what ye know not. Now that's, again, can be tied into this right here, because we know that Nazareth is a place where nothing good came out of, right? Okay. So this is a place of mischief, a place of, you know, trouble and, you know, people that are just not special, not spectacular, whatever. But you know, this is what Allah and man incarnated into, but this is us. This is all for us. This is the message for you. This is for me. This is for your children. This is for everyone. So this is being hit on again, right? We keep coming into this again. But then also in this chapter, Jesus, you know, is giving you the tools to help you to achieve this, because we see that in Galilee that this is about tapping into the energy, the soul energy, your power, your force, right? This is what Galilee actually symbolizes. All right. And one of the ways that you do this is by I guess I'm trying to put it in my own words, like bypassing, you know, your lower self. The tools to help you do this are the tools of the workshop of the mind. Does anybody know what those tools look like? Has anybody ever seen those tools before? Right? I'm sure everybody has. Everybody's seen the square and compass before. And so he's telling you exactly, you know, what it means, at least one perspective. It has a physical meaning. You know, there are real physical usages for the square and compass, you know, as far as building, astrology, right? But he's telling you like the esoteric meaning, the spiritual meaning, you know, what you know you can use with it on an everyday basis to improve your life and to help you achieve, you know, whatever it is that you're trying to achieve in your life. This is how you can tap into your power. And he's giving you the tools right there, right? So that's it right there, right? These are the tools of the workshop of the mind. Okay? And so he's giving you the meaning, and we're supposed to learn this and use this on a regular basis, right? Every thought that we have, you know, that before we take action on it, you know, we're supposed to square our own thoughts, right? We're supposed to always have this in mind. So on one aspect, you know, this square and the compass has actual astrological meaning, right? And then it also has physical meaning for building, you know, building for masons, building things, right? But then it also has a spiritual meaning that you use, you know, that if you use on an everyday basis, this is helping you unleash the power of Allah within, right? This is helping you be that vice regent, that viceroy, okay? Right? So, does anybody have any questions on that? We all cool on that? Okay, cool. All right. So about to go to the questionnaire. All right. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. If you don't have a physical copy, you could just look. All right. So moving on to question 1. Who made you? Allah. Who is Allah? Allah is the Father of the universe. Can we see him? No. Where's the nearest place we can meet him? In the heart. Scylla, can you say something on that? Right there, like number 4, where it says, where's the nearest place we can meet Allah? In the heart.
Islam. I was just thinking today about how if we all lay down on the ground with our heads pointing to the north, our heart will be to the east. And I was thinking about, you know, why, you know, in like Islam, we always talk about, you know, facing the east. We face the east when we pray, you know, the Mecca, you know, is east. And I was like, what's up with east? You know, it has to mean something more than just, you know, the location. So when I laid down on the ground with my head pointing north, facing up, I realized that our hearts are to the east of our bodies, and that's the nearest place that we can find Allah. Islam.
Okay. All right, everybody got that. So yeah, we face the east, you know, because we're facing the heart. That's the nearest place where you can meet Allah. All right. Okay, so number 5, who is Noble Drew Ali? He is Allah's prophet. What is a prophet? A prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in flesh. What is the duty of a prophet? To save nations from the wrath of Allah. Who is the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America? Noble Drew Ali. What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? 1913 AD. Hang on, we got a question. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought somebody had a question. If you have a question though, just unmute and you could just speak, because probably not gonna see it if you put your hand up. All right, so yeah, where was the Moorish Science Temple founded? Newark, New Jersey. Where was Noble Drew Ali born? In the state of North Carolina, 1886. What is his nationality? Moorish American. What is your nationality? Moorish American. Why are we Moorish Americans? Because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. All right. Okay. And so we're Moroccans, and not in the restrictive sense. The restrictive sense would just be referring to the present day nation state of Morocco. Okay. But the ancient kingdom, all right, of Morocco, or the empire, excuse me, would actually have several different kingdoms. Okay. All right. And just looking at, like I'd say like the last 400 years, you had Tripoli. This was a Barbary state. You had Algiers and Tripoli, Algiers, and Libya, right? And then you had several others too. So just going off of what we can see in mainstream history that they don't hide, there were several Moroccan states, okay? And then of course in Spain as well, all right? And what they don't tell you is that it extended over here as well. All right, so back to where we was at. Why are we Moorish Americans? Because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. For what purpose was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? For the uplifting of fallen humanity. How did the prophet begin to uplift Moorish Americans? By teaching them to be themselves. What is our religion? Islamism. Real quick, I'm just going to read this from Moorish literature on Islam. This is right there. It says, what is our religion? Islamism. Is that a new or is that an old time religion? It's an old time religion. Okay, this is what is Islam? I believe this is written actually by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Okay, Islam is a very simple faith. It recognizes it requires man to recognize his duties towards God Allah, his creator, and his fellow creatures. It teaches the supreme duty of living at peace with one's surroundings. It is preeminently the religion of peace. The very name Islam means peace, right? The root word of Islam, salam, that means peace. The goal of a man's life, according to Islam, is peace with everything, peace with Allah and peace with man. The Koran, the holy book of Islam, tells us that the final abode of man is the house of peace, where no vain word or sinful discourse will be heard. The holy divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, says that a follower of Islam in the true sense of the word is one whose hands, tongue, and thoughts do not hurt others. Object of man's life, according to Islam, is its complete unfoldment. Islam teaches that man is born with unlimited capacities for progress, which we can see from the Quran, even from the same Surah 2, Ayat 30 that I read before, where it's saying, this is Islam teaches that man's born with unlimited capacities for progress. And that was telling you that, you are a vice regent on earth for Allah, right? Okay. And so that Allah's power, Allah's strength works through you. You are to represent the strength of Allah on earth. Okay. And so it's teaching us that in the Quran. So this is right in alignment, with the Quran of Mecca. Islam does not support the idea that man was born in sin. It teaches that everyone has within him the seed of perfect development, and it rests solely within himself to make or mar his fortune. Him meaning him or her. This is talking about man in general. The cardinal doctrine of Islam is the unity of the Father Allah. We believe in one God, Allah, who is all God, all mercy, all power, and all power. He is perfect and holy, all wisdom, all knowledge, and all truth. These are some of his greatest attributes so far as we can understand. He is free from all defects, holy and transcendent. He is personal to us insofar as we see his attributes working for us and in us, but he is nevertheless impersonal because he is infinite, perfect, and holy. We do not believe in that death, decay, or sleep overtakes him. Neither do we believe that he is helplessly inactive and inner force. Nothing happens without his knowledge and will. He neither begets nor is he begotten, because these are traits of frail and weak humanity. The unity of Allah is the first and foremost pillar of Islam, and every other belief hangs upon it. Okay, so this is what Islam means to us, all right? And at the root, it means peace, living at peace, at oneness with everything, at oneness with the universe. Okay, so we're on the next level with this. We're taking it back to the root, and that's why it says, is that a new, number 18, or that an old-time religion? It's the old-time religion. This is the original, okay? This is why we can relate to everyone else. We can, meet them where they're at. All right, what kind of flag is the Moorish? It is a red flag with a 5-pointed green star in the center. What do the 5 points represent? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. How old is our flag? It is over 10,000 years old. Which is our holy day? Friday. Why? Because Friday is the day on which man was formed in flesh, and it was on a Friday when he departed out of the flesh. And we know also from building before on the, Kabbalah tree of life, the Sephiroth, that is the Tefrith. That means that's the 6th day, counting from the top. All right, there's 10 spears. We're in the 6th spear. All right, right there where the spirit is coming into the physical. All right, so this is powerful, high up, ancient wisdom, knowledge that we're getting back into. All right, we're getting back into this. So that's why we stick to the holy day, Friday. We understand the importance of keeping this because we know what's going on, right? Islam. All right, so who was Jesus? He was a prophet of Allah. Where was he born? In Bethlehem of Judah, in the house of David. Who were his mother and father? Joseph and Mary. We give in brief line genealogy through which Jesus came. Some of the great fathers through which Jesus came are Abraham, Boaz by Ruth, Jesse, King David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Joseph by Mary. Why did Allah send Jesus to this earth? To save the Israelites from the iron hand oppression of the pale-skinned nations of Europe who were governing a portion of Palestine at that time. How long has that been? About 2,000 years ago. What was the nationality of Ruth? Ruth was a Moabitess. What is the modern name for the Moabites? Moroccans. Where's the Moroccan Empire? Northwest of Mexum. What is the modern name for Mexum? Africa. What is the title given to our ruler in Morocco? Sultan. Where did we get the name Jesus? From the East. Okay, and we know that can mean from the heart, right? Because where do you meet Allah? In the heart. What does Jesus mean? Jesus is the I am. What does the name Jesus mean? Jesus also means justice. Did the angel give to the child that was called Jesus a holy name? Yes, but it cannot be used by those who are slaves to sin. What is an angel? An angel is a thought of Allah manifested in human flesh. What are angels used for? To carry messages to the 4 corners of the world, to all nations. Okay? What is our prophet to us? He is an angel of Allah who is sent to bring us the everlasting gospel of Allah. All right? And so what is the everlasting gospel? It is a saving power that comes from Allah through our ancient father by his prophet. What is the covenant of the great God Allah? Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the earthland, which the Lord thy God Allah hath given thee. At what age did Jesus begin to teach? At the age 12. Where did he teach? India, Africa, and Europe. How long did he teach? 18 years. What did Jesus say that would make you free? Truth. What is truth? Truth is art. What is art? Art is Allah. Can truth change? Truth cannot change or pass away. What other name do we give to truth? Holy breath. What have you to say about the holy breath? All we can say is it is great, it is good, it was, it is, and evermore to be. Amen. At what place on earth was the physical part of man formed? In the Garden of Eden. Where is the Garden of Eden? In the land of Canaan, in the city of Mecca. What is the modern name for the Garden of Eden? Mecca. All right. Maybe another time we could build on Garden of Eden. What is the name of the first physical man? His name cannot be used only by the executive rulers of the ADEP Chamber of the Moorish Science Temple of America. What are the words AC of the MSTA? That's ADEP Chamber of the Moorish Temple of America, Moorish Science Temple of America, third heaven. Who were Adam and Eve? They are the mothers and fathers of the human family, Asiatics and Muslims. Where did they go? They went into Asia. What is the modern name given to their children? Asiatics. Who is guarding the holy city of Mecca today to keep the unbelievers away? Angels. What is the modern name for those angels? Asiatics. What is the shade of their skin? Olive. Are the Moorish Americans any relation to those angels? Yes, we all have the same father and mother. Give the 5 names that were given to the descendants of Adam and Eve. Lucifer, Satan, devil, dragon, and beast. What is the devil sometimes called? The lower self. How many selves are there? 2. Everybody should know this now, right? Name them. Higher self and lower self. What people represent the higher self? The angels who protect the holy city of Mecca. What people represent the lower self? Those who were cast out of the holy city and those who accept their teaching. What is the higher self? The higher self is the mother of virtues and the harmonies of life and breeds justice, mercy, love, and right. Can the higher self pass away? No. Why? Because it is Allah in man. What does the lower self breed? Hatred, slander, lewdness, murders, theft, and everything that harms. What did the higher self say to the lower self at one time when he met him? Where are you going, Satan? What was the answer that the lower self gave to the higher self? I'm going to and fro in the earth, seeking whom I may devour. Has he finished his task of devouring? Yes. When was his time declared out? When he nailed Jesus on the cross. What are the last words Jesus uttered? He said, "It is finished." What did he have reference to? He had reference to the end of Satan. Did Jesus say that he will return to conquer him? Yes. What is the name of the person into whom Jesus first reincarnated? Prophet Muhammad the Conqueror. Was Satan to be bound then? Satan was to be bound in part. When was the head of Satan taken off? 1453 Byzantine. By whom? By Muhammad. Now name some of the marks that were put upon the Moors of Northwest by the European nations in 1774. Negro, black, colored, and Ethiopian. Negro is a name given to a river in West Africa by Moors because it contains black water. Go ahead and speak up.
Well, Lord, like just choice.
Okay, so yeah, it says the Negro is a name given to a river in West Africa by Moors because it contains black water. There's a Negro River in South America. I mean, it makes sense to me. This could be West Africa, right? Or west of Mexico. What is meant by the word black? Oh, go ahead.
After research was done, there is no river in Africa with that name. So they could not have been talking about Africa that we know, Africa today. They had to have been talking about Africa here in South America.
Islam. Okay, so what is meant by the word black? Black, according to science, means death. What does the word colored mean? Colored means anything that has been painted, stained, varnished, or dyed. What does Ethiopia mean? Ethiopia means something divided, right? The Atlantic Ocean used to be called the Ethiopia Mar, right? Because Mar means sea, right? So it was like the dividing sea between, you know, the Americas and, you know, Europe and Africa and all that. Okay, so can a man be a Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian? No. Why? Because man is made in the image and after the likeness of God, Allah. What title does Satan give himself? God. Will you define the word white? White means purity. Purity means God, and God means the ruler of the land. To whom do we refer to at times as being the great God Allah. Is the devil made in the image and likeness of Allah? No, he is the shadow of our lower selves and will pass away. Who made the devil? Elohim. Who is Elohim? Elohim is the 7 creative spirits that created everything that ever was, is, and evermore to be. What is Elohim sometimes called? The 7 eyes of Allah. How many days are in the circle? 7 days. How many days are in creation? 7 days. According to science, how many days are in a year? 7 days. All right. And unless anybody has any questions, we're gonna move on. All right. Okay. So also I was gonna share some stuff with you from the Moorish literature, right? And one is called Political Slavery. Okay. Well, actually, I'm gonna read that next. Hold on. I'm gonna read something called Nickname. Right. This too, I believe this is by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Nickname, right? When the forefathers of the Moorish Americans were first brought to this nation, they had a nationality and a name. But in order to separate them from the achievements of their fathers, a name was given to them which had no connection whatever with the founders of civilization. They were nicknamed Negroes. Today in this nation, there are no such thing as Negroes in this sense that they are called. Just why so many of the intelligent Americans continue to cling to this nickname is hard to understand. If you look in some dictionaries, you will see the word Negro means a sly person, a coon. This is not an insult to the illustrious history of a nation. There can never be one given. Just as they saddled on the Moorish Americans the name Negro, they have also given him a religion that was made to enslave him and stop his progress. It is the duty of every man who lives to redeem the name of his forefathers and not be herded into a mass of weaklings. Stop referring to yourself as a Negro, colored, or black, for you are neither. If you are men, American citizens, speak up for yourselves or it will never be done. As long as you wear the clothes of another or live in the house of another or, excuse me, as long as you wear the clothes of another or live in the house of another or depend on another in any manner, you are truly a slave to them. If you would be free indeed, you must seek the truth. You must know the truth of your nationality in the name of your people. You must not be a coward and deny yourself the personal rights that belong to every man. And then also I was going to read Political Slavery. I think also this is by Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Okay. Anytime a man or woman fails or refuses to cast a sacred ballot at the polls, they separate themselves from all rights of an American citizen. For surely this is the one connecting medium for a citizen to his nation. They become no more than belated beasts of burdens. There are reasons why certain classes who are more or less independent take no part in politics, since they say they get nothing out of such in the way of material gain. This is no less than a political slave, since they refuse to voice their sentiments at the polls. Another form of political slavery, which is probably more prevalent among the less independent class, is that of being forced into one of the major parties and their bribed, coerced, or otherwise forced to vote the wishes of someone else, regardless of their own minds, before they can be general relief for the economic good of all. All forms of political slavery must be abolished, and every citizen must take his part in the affairs of the nation. And so there's a lot of us who've given up, don't feel like it's going to work for us, so we don't even take part. And then you got a whole bunch of us who are just, like you said, herded in as Democrats. They even still to this day, which is so ignorant, they pull out Black Twitter or whatever, Black celebrities to come out and shame people, for speaking about other candidates or Republicans or anything like that. And it's crazy because, that is political slavery. There's so many of us in this country that if we, thought for ourselves and looked out for ourselves, we could be in power overnight, right? And so there's a lot of people that don't want that to happen. All right. And I'm not saying that everyone's against this, because there's a lot of people that want to help and assist us as well. But you know, that represents a huge threat to anyone who benefits from keeping us in the dark, right? And so that's something that we have to do something about now. And that's something that the prophet during his lifetime, he was actually helping to get people into office. All right. And they had like 5,000 voters registered, you know, and at a time too, where it was still difficult for our people to vote without being intimidated and all types of things put in place to try to keep us from empowering ourselves. Right. So this is something that we want to do here, you know, right here where we're at in Ohio. Okay. And that's another reason why we're doing the block vote. And everyone who joins the temple is going to be required to sign up with the block vote. And we will, you know, negotiate for our support, just like all other intelligent, independent groups do as well. Okay. And so I just wanted to share those things with you too. And also wanted to share something else. I don't know if anybody saw the, like there was a video that we shared where I don't know if it was in Philadelphia or Chicago at a convention, but some brothers were asking Taj Tariq Bey if we're citizens, right? Okay, and I'm just gonna share something about that. Because I know everybody's hearing so much stuff. Nobody really knows what to think. Let me show you something. All right. Now, this, I didn't get this myself from Brother D. Belial, so I have to talk to him about this, but he actually shared this with somebody that I know. And this is a like a travel docket for U.S. citizens going to Cuba, right? And if you can, let me blow this up some more. This is pretty powerful. But if you look at the date, this is January 25th, 1928. This ship was sailing to Havana, Cuba. And this was a list of U.S. citizens aboard that ship. Okay. And so some of you may already seen the name Drew Ali on here. But this, once again, this is January 25th, 1928, which is around the time that the Pan-American Conference took place that Prophet Noble Drew Ali attended on our behalf. Okay. And if you see here, it says first name Drew, last name Ali, age 42, right? And it says, I guess his residence maybe was in Norfolk. I don't know. Can't really make that out. But, all right, it looks like it says January 8th, 1886, which is his birth date. Okay? And, right, so it says Drew Ali, age 42. Can't really make that out. Norfolk or something, but it's got his birthday, January 8th, 1886. And this is a list of U.S. citizens traveling to Havana, Cuba. Okay? All right, so just wanted to share that with you guys. I mean, if you have any questions or anything, go ahead and feel free to ask them. Other than that, we're going to go into the writs to be read at every meeting. Does anybody have anything to say or ask any questions or anything? Okay, cool. So we're all good. All right, I'm going to read this. Prophet warns all Muslims to be read at every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while in their homes or in the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet or violate the divine constitution of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card a button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet, therefore, is sending out the divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their prophet in the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace, Noble Drew Ali. I think with us, you know, it's like we definitely don't need to waste time trying to talk about whether there's a difference between a citizen, American citizen, or USA, because these terms are used like synonymously by the Supreme Court, even by Prophet Noble Drew Ali within his literature, the things that he wrote. So for us to be squabbling over that instead of imitating the Prophet, opening up businesses, you know, participating in politics, looking out for ourselves, our community on our behalf, making power moves. You know, if we're still squabbling about that, we're not going to get anything done. So it's very important for us to be out here active and to not overthink some of these things. All right. To be proclaimed at every meeting, Islam. I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you, and I desire, excuse me, for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me in the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials in the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so that they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all of these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds, the ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which have been performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam, this is the instruction from your prophet Noble Drew Ali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you will be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is on now, but the weak can comprehend it not, right? The end of time is drawing near. So says Allah to his divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and that is why many have hearts that have been turned to stone, and many have eyes to see but cannot see, ears to hear but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are the trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving, and they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but will sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah will bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Right? So we have faith. We know that our destiny is not uncertain, right? We understand. We know this. And that's why you guys are all here today. So I appreciate everyone for coming in. We're going to go ahead and close the meeting. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. If you would, please rise for the closing prayer. Put 2 fingers up on the right, 5 on the left, and face the east. Do not repeat after me. Allah, bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers, divine creed and principles. We ask this in our holy name in the 7 Elohim. Amen. Okay, so that's the end of the meeting for today. If anybody has any questions or anything else that you want to add, feel free to speak. Go ahead.
Yo, peace.
Peace.
I forget which exact surah and ayat it is, but in the Quran, it says in the footnotes, the Quran I have, at least. It
Mhm.
says that the Garden of Eden is earth that man was placed in. Now, I just want
Islam.
to share that. So it kind of got brought up in some way.
Islam. Yeah, when I was reading the 101s. You still there? All right.
I'm here.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking maybe we could go in on that, like just uh the the hidden meaning, or like the esoteric meaning of Eden, right? Because I forgot that I had seen that like not too long ago, and I thought it would be interesting if everybody, builds on that. But maybe we could do that next time. All right.
That's a good topic there.
Yeah.
Another question.
Uh-huh.
You said that you have a what is it, metaphysical dictionary? Is that what it's called? Or
Yeah, there's this you could just Google Charles Fillmore. He wrote about like the power of the mind and all that. He's got this metaphysical dictionary though, where it gives like the reasons for everything. Because like when it's saying like a mountain in the Bible, it's talking about you. It doesn't matter like whether it's talking about Satan, it's talking about you. Everything in there is talking about you. Something like in your, within your own mind state. And so like that, yeah, that by Charles Fillmore, that metaphysical dictionary. You could find it online, but you probably want a physical copy because it's got like 1,000 pages, 800 pages, something like that. And the Garden of Eden represents a region of being in which are provided all primal ideas for the production of beautiful. As described in Genesis, it represents allegorically the elemental life and intelligence placed at the disposal of man, through which he is to evolve both mind and body. The human body, with its physical and spiritual attributes, comprises a miniature Garden of Eden. When man develops spiritual insight and in thought, word, and act voluntarily operates in accordance with divine law, then rulership, authority, and dominion become his in both mind and body. The kingdom of God is within you, and that's the Garden of Eden. The human body represents it because it's right there in that sixth day, right? In that Tefroth, the sixth spear on that tree of life, and it has physical and spiritual attributes because that's right there where the spiritual is coming into, Malkuth. Malkuth is down here, and then the spiritual is up here. So when you're counting from the top, you get to kind of like the middle. That's the sixth spear, and that's where we're at, and that's also the physical body. And then going down there is Malkuth, And so if you're looking at the chakras too, that's like the root chakra, right? And so the body, like it's saying there, represents the Garden of Eden because it has these spiritual and physical attributes. And actually all of this is teaching us this, right? But we have the power to actuate it and to do something about it. And that's how come like we don't, need to be on here complaining about the white man, complain about any of that, because we have the power. We're the vice regents, we're the lords of this, and not just in talk, but we have to master ourselves, because we can do things, that we can't even imagine. We have the power to control our reality, and it begins with controlling your thoughts. All right,
Islam.
And so that's what we're talking about today too, with chapter 5, the tools of the workshop of the mind. We have to constantly square our thoughts to make sure they're within the bounds of righteousness and what we're trying to accomplish. Even the language that we have, like I was born in 1980, so like, hip hop, that was just like, what I grew up with. And so the language, like when something's nice, it's ill, that's sick, And I say that, and like when we call our house the crib, you know what I'm saying? Instead of saying it's a castle, I'm gonna meet you at the crib, or I'm about to head back to the crib. And that's the crib, that's where the babies sleep. And we using language that's like self-defeating or keeping us down, and we don't even know it. We have to square all of that constantly. And the more knowledge you get, the bigger the burden is. Like, you can't really do that anymore because you know better. So like when you're about to say something that's self-defeating or something like that, you gotta like stop it. You have to control your thoughts, your words, your actions. You know, there's more responsibility with being a real more, not just somebody who got some information from here and there, but from actually going to the source, knowing what the prophet gave us, what we have, and then not just reading it, but getting an understanding of it and putting it into action on a daily basis. Just those little steps that you take every day is powerful, because if you do things consistently, you know, that's how you get the results. Like if you're trying to exercise, work out, you don't try to go lift a whole bunch on one day. You know, you just do a little bit consistently, so you stick to it and you start to transform your body. And so we're transforming our mind and our reality, and we just do these little steps every day. And, you know, we collectively become more powerful. And this is how we collectively too can create our reality. Like, you might be able to do this on your own, but if we are all doing this, you know, we can collectively build the power and the things that we want to do. And so that's how come this stuff is in the beginning of the Quran too, because it's getting our maturity level up. Because like, I'm not sitting over here over anyone, you know, I mess up all the time. And so like, we're all learning, we're all getting our maturity level up so that we can handle the power that Allah bestowed on us, you know, making us lords over this. Lord, that's our birthright, right? Lords of the plane of manifest and the soul plane. So, you know, it's a lot of power, and we have to get up there so that we can actually do something about it, right? And so that's what all this is preparing us for, you know. And I don't know about you, but I'd rather get it done now, figure it out now, so that in the next level, I'm not trying to figure this stuff out, right? I want to move on to the next level when I leave here. Does that make sense? All right. So you know, we're powerful, and it's good that we're here. Nobody's paying us to be here. Like, we're doing this because there's something inside us that's making us come online right now. And so that's what this is about. This is why we do the lessons on Sunday school, and this is why we do Holy Day. And you guys know about Holy Day, which a lot of Moors don't, so that we can go out and teach this to other Moors as well, right? We're not just doing this as a mindless ritual. We do Holy Day, Friday. Nah, this is powerful. This is spiritual. This is quantum physics, whatever they want to call it. It's real. You know, we know there's more to this whole 6-day thing than what meets the eye, right? And so we have to hold to this. We have to hold strong and be, you know, faithful, right? It's powerful just in holding to that and knowing what you're doing. All right, so I hope all that makes sense. If anything doesn't, feel free to ask questions. If anybody has anything else to say, go ahead. Otherwise, you know, peace and love. All right. Okay, so we're all good. Cool.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace and love, Islam.
All right, we'll meet again on the 6th day. All right.
Peace.
Islam. Islam. Peace and love.
Then we're gonna close the river all small down, man. That fight.